Hello, welcome to this new section. In this section, we're going to talk about conditions. Conditions mean some things that may happen before something can occur. So, as I told you, as I announced before, we're going to talk about hypothetical situations that can happen, that can take place if certain conditions are met. So, we're going to talk about that using some structures. You may remember that you talked about conditions in previous levels, but I would like to review with you what kind of conditions we can have. So for that, I have these grammatical titles for these topics, and we're going to call them first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. That depends on how possible the action is likely to occur. Well, possible and likely are like similar. So how possible the situation is, or how likely the situation is to occur. So, and I'm going to use the same sentence written or expressed in the same, actually the same sentences, expressed in the first condition, so that we can, in each condition, so that we can understand and contrast what we're talking about here, especially how possible the situation is to occur. So let's see the first conditional. The first conditional is used for actions that are possible, so they are likely to occur. They say that, let's say that they are realistic. For example, if we have enough flour, we can bake cookies tonight. That means if that condition of us having flour is met, we will be able to bake cookies tonight. So it is possible. Let's see, let's check. Do we have flour? Oh, we will make cookies. Bake them. Another example. If you help me, we will finish in no time. So help me and we will finish. It is possible, right? So as you can see, the condition is expressed in the present simple if we have enough flour. And for the hypothetical situation, we can use something like the present tense. In that case, we use we can bake, or we can express that in the future tense. All right. We could also have this type of situations, describing them with when. When you help me, we will finish, or when we have enough flour, we can bake cookies. So it is a simple structure, and that is something that we studied way back before. So in this level, we are going to focus on actually the other types of conditions, the second and third. So look, the second conditional refers to actions that are quite impossible because it is hard to meet the conditions. Look at the same description here. If we had enough flour, we could bake cookies. If we had. The thing is that it looks like we don't have enough flour, so we cannot bake the cookies. So that's why we expressed it with the past simple, if we had. So it is not actually we are describing an action in the past. No, it is a condition that uses the past simple form. If we had enough flour. The negation of this would be if we didn't have enough flour. All right? So if we had enough flour, we could bake cookies, but it is quite impossible. I say quite, that it is mitigator to say that it is not completely impossible, but it is very unlikely that it may happen. Next, if you helped me, we would finish in no time. We use the past simple to express an unrealistic, no, not unrealistic, a quite impossible, not unrealistic, a quite impossible situation or condition to meet. All right, that is the second conditional. Past simple for the condition, and we use could or would for the hypothetical situation. All right. Next, we have the third conditional. The third conditional is the one that we use to express about actions that actually are unrealistic It means that it is impossible that they can happen because something didn't happen in the past. So if something didn't happen in the past, nothing is going to branch out of that action that didn't happen. So it is, I say all the time, this is something that it is just speculation because we cannot do anything about fixing something that didn't happen in the past. Look at the same example. If we had enough flour, means that we didn't have enough flour. But in case we had enough flour, we could have baked cookies tonight. So the point is, we didn't have flour, we cannot bake cookies, we did not bake cookies. So, but in language we have that possibility, so we are using this anyway. All right? The same thing. If you had helped me, because you didn't help me, if you had helped me, we would have finished in no time, but it didn't happen. So since that is something that people like to say, I don't like to spend much time saying things that didn't happen and would have happened. But it is a necessary structure. We are using this for that. So in order for you to practice these concepts, I'm sorry, this is taking kind of some time, but I wanted to make sure that this is clear for you. I have this short activity, all right? It says, choose the correct verb form to complete each sentence, all right? Example, if I didn't have other homework to do, blank my art project. So if I didn't have homework to do, I would finish or I would have finished. The key, well, we have to analyze the sentence, but one grammatical key is that they used the past simple for the condition, so it means that we are talking about the second conditional. So what really makes sense is to say, if I didn't have other homework to do, I would finish my art project. All right? So it is kind of impossible, but it's still doable. All right? So now I have these 5 sentences for you. Please pause the video and examine these sentences and try to decide which is the best verb form to complete this description of a hypothetical situation. All right? Pause the video, complete the exercise, and I'll see you in a moment. All right, I hope that you did it, that you paused the video and completed the exercise. So let's look at the first one. It says, if we had invited them, they were able to come, or they wouldn't have been able to come. Oh, it says, even if we had invited them. Even if we had invited them, what is the answer? They wouldn't have been able to come. All right? Because it's the third conditional there. Next, if I were you, past tense, I blank your friend the truth. So if I were you, I would tell your friend the truth. Let's pause for a moment. Actually, before we move on, let's listen to the pronunciation that we have for this, in which this boy helps us see how a native speaker pronounces this. Listen to the pronunciation of the first sentence. I'm sorry, I had forgotten about that. Listen.
Even if we had invited them, they wouldn't have been able to come.
Thank you. Now let's look at the second example. Listen to the pronunciation.
If I were you, I would tell your friend the truth.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next. If the mother bird hadn't threatened the cat, so there was a cat coming near a mother bird. The cat, blank the chicks. It would hurt or would have hurt the chicks. Answer, if it would have hurt the chicks. Yes, because if she hadn't, I'm saying if the mother, hadn't threatened the cat, because they can do that, the cat would have hurt or eaten the chicks. All right? Listen to his pronunciation.
If the mother bird hadn't threatened the cat, it would have hurt the chick.
Thank you. Next, if my dad had a different job, he blank happier. If he had, past simple, second conditional, would be happier. Yeah, that is true for some adults. Listen to the pronunciation.
If my dad had a different job, he would be happier.
Great. So, finally, if he hadn't stayed up so late last night, he blank on time this morning. If he hadn't stayed up. One key here is that we're using the past perfect for the condition. If we have the past perfect for the condition, we're talking about the third conditional. So that is a good key. So the answer is, he would have been on time this morning. All right, listen to his pronunciation, please.
If he hadn't stayed up so late last night, he would have been on time this morning.
Great. Thank you very much for completing the exercise and for practicing your pronunciation. And we're going to continue to practice with conditions, and we're going to talk about things that probably didn't happen the way we wanted. What is that about? I'll see you in the next video.